then people talk a lot about FinTech.
As a solution.
As a solution.
Or
I think,
as an
no, people see FinTech as the Holy Grail, right?
yeah.
I don't see FinTech as the Holy Grail.
Yeah.
I see FinTech as being part of the conversation.
Yeah.
So, it's the same as the rise of the internet, right? So before the internet, we were all kind of sending funny messages to each other and dialing up telephone calls and so on and so forth on the fixed lines. After the internet, the world became a lot more democratic. But the internet is just a channel. The internet revolutionized the way we exchange information, but it's just a channel. It didn't, in some aspects, it facilitated a revolution in terms of content, but the content was one way or another always there. So FinTech to me is the same. Unless you address the fundamental issues like compliance, like creditworthiness, like structuring, and so on and so forth in the trade finance world, just because you're using a slicker channel, it doesn't mean that you're going to decrease the trade finance gap. And I think this is absolutely critical. If you use technology and fintechs as an enabler of better solutions around compliance, creditworthiness, structuring, and so on and so forth, due diligence led, then of course you make them a lot lighter from a cost point of view. And that's where blockchain and the likes will probably kick in and help a lot.
But don't you think that's where the excuses come in as well? Because people would then will say, we don't understand how this fintech works. So by the time we adopt this, a new fintech will come out, and that's, I mean, their core reasons, they don't really express too much, perhaps because they don't want to, which are going into uncertain markets. It's gonna put a hole in our profits. If we get fined, we don't understand it. The profits aren't there. These are the real reasons.
Yes.
And the excuses or the reasons they give are compliance, fintech, maybe not understanding the market as well. As you said, the defaults on the services they provide. All of these things become reasons as to what it is, but the core is something else.
Definitely.
Is perhaps because you've worked in these markets in the past, you understand a lot more, and you work better with bankers and organizations who have that life experience working in these frontier and emerging markets. That's why you as a person and Crown Agents as an organization are much more efficient.
It is about that level of knowledge.
Do people,
make no mistake. You can't create a shortcut.
But it seems strange to me though, Duarte, because trade finance is so global in its nature. Surely you need to have a global mindset, a global knowledge of how things work for you to be profitable and also enjoy the work you do. So then how do you marry up the reasons as to we don't understand it, but you are a trade finance is the oldest kind of
Remember,
game.
It depends on
business.
the organization or organizations you work with or you work for. I know organizations where as a trade finance employee, you're basically just doing a very, very small part of the chain. So like, for example, you're selling...
You're pigeonholed.
That's it. You're selling letters of credit and guarantees to clients in the northeast of England in a given industry, right? So how restrictive is that? Again, going back to my career, if you look at my career, I've been in the right place at the right time. I've been very lucky. But I've done pretty much everything except managing a fund, although I've been challenged to do that already. And perhaps working for a commodity trading company, although I do work a lot with them, so I know how they work. I haven't been pigeonholed. So the whole thing I do for the ITFA, for example, is with the mentoring schemes, with the awards, with the educational seminars, etc., is to make sure that our emerging leaders have that broader knowledge of trade rather than being pigeonholed into one or two products and eventually making that their life until there's some sort of promotion and they get to go to a different part of the bank and eventually they don't get to enjoy trade finance for the exciting thing it really is.
Yeah.